Dreamers Awake, Chapter 17. Lydia had fallen asleep, her head cradled in her arms on the desk. She was overwhelmed by the information she had uncovered about Matilda and hadn't known what to do with her new knowledge. She had laid her head down, surrounded by the ephemera of her cousin/half-sister, and let her heavy eyelids fall. It was the cold that woke her suddenly. The room was dark, and she wondered how long she'd been out. Rubbing her face, she looked around the room. The only thing she'd left out was the letters from friends. They were strewn around the room. Lydia wasn't exactly sure how to refold them, so she had left small piles here and there. There were a few unread ones on the desk beside her, and she began to unfold them. A strange feeling crept over her, and she felt her breath catch in her throat. She turned, and there was Matilda. No longer was she the mangled form she'd started as. She was whole and pretty. Her hair was no longer matted. Her face was smooth and blemish-free. The scratches and mutilation had faded away. Although she looked beautiful, Lydia felt nothing but cold hostility emanating from her. Lydia tried to shout for Aunt Maggie, but couldn't make a sound. Matilda spoke instead. "You'll never be me," she said. "Get out." Lydia felt a flash of anger. She knew this was a dream or a ghost or something, but she felt an irrational rage and found her voice. "I'm not taking anything from you. I don't want to be you," she shouted. Matilda shook her head. "So much you don't understand. You're a child. You must let me go," Matilda said. "I'm not keeping you here," Lydia said. Her eyes were stinging. "I want you to go." Matilda shook her head again. She looked sad and angry. "Let me go. You cannot be me." What the hell could she mean? Lydia wanted to tear out her hair. How many more ways could she say it? How could she make Matilda understand she wasn't stealing anything from her? "You make no sense. How can I make you understand? I'm me. I just need—" Lydia didn't know how to finish her sentence. What could she say? The ghost wouldn't understand anyway. "You don't understand." Matilda pointed a finger at Lydia. "You must understand to let me go. And you must. Let me go." The ghost vanished in a silent puff. Lydia woke with a start and found herself on the floor of Matilda's bedroom. Everything was strewn around as if a tornado had hit. Nothing was as it should be, and even though she had just awoken, Lydia wondered why she felt so off-kilter. She got up and stumbled down the hall to the living room. Aunt Maggie sat on the couch watching a TV show on Netflix. "Aunt Maggie, it happened again," Lydia said. It was only then that the silence became apparent to her. The show on the television was a still image, as if someone had paused it and gone to the kitchen to get a snack. Aunt Maggie was motionless on the couch, her eyes staring forward, blank. "What's going on? Why is this happening? I woke up!" She tried to control her voice. She wanted to scream the words, but knew it would be useless. Small grooves formed on her palms from her fingernails as her hands balled up. "You woke up?" Aunt Maggie asked listlessly. Lydia crouched into a squat and encircled her head with her hands. "I just don't know what to do." Frustration caused her eyes to brim and spill over with tears. It was one of her least favorite things about herself, the tears that came with great frustration, anger, rage. People thought her weak or sad, but it wasn't that at all. They were rage tears. She looked up, and all around her the house was blurry, but not from her tears. Everything had an otherworldly, surreal look, as if the edges of everything had been drawn with charcoal and smudged. Nothing was defined, and she felt she was floating, even though her feet were clearly on the ground and she was crouched in a tight ball. "Why do I feel like I'm dreaming?" she whispered. "Dreaming," Aunt Maggie whispered. Maybe her whole life had been a dream, Lydia thought. Everything she knew, maybe it was all just a dream. A song popped in her head so suddenly she almost fell over. It played on a loop, this kid's song from years gone by. Life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The song repeated, not the whole thing, just that line, repeating over and over. Then, as suddenly as the song had popped into her head, it wasn't just in her head anymore. It echoed around her, sung by one sickly sweet voice, repeated. She looked at her Aunt Maggie. Her mouth was hanging open and acted as a speaker. No, Lydia groaned. That seemed to encourage whatever entity had started this song. There was a quiet crackle over the song, and then it intensified, being sung in a round. That one line haunting her, life is but a dream. Lydia looked back at the TV, and the still image of whatever show Aunt Maggie had been watching was gone. Matilda was there. Was she in the TV or just in front of it? Lydia couldn't tell, but the song got louder as she tried to focus and puzzle it out. Matilda stood there smiling, singing along a little, staring at Lydia. Suddenly, she was right there, in Lydia's face, and she whispered to her, "Your life is just a dream." Lydia finally screamed and collapsed to the floor.